please.
Okay. Let's talk about so as we prepare to move into the SummerSlam discussion, we have this gentleman. Some would call him the greatest of all time. Well, at least the ring announcer says that every time he's introduced to the ring. John Cena, who made going into SummerSlam at the last minute, made what I thought was a very abrupt babyface turn, which most people seem to be happy about. But I have some complicated feelings about this. And I don't know what you think, Eric. And I intentionally, I think this was the thing we were talking about before the show. I intentionally did not want to know what you think of this because I want to be surprised. And you might be surprised by some of what I have to say. I don't know. But when that babyface turn happened in that promo, I was perhaps one of the few people, because online among podcasters and everything, the reaction seemed to be, oh, thank God. The heel run has been a flop, and this is the Cena we want. We just want him to be babyface again. Thank God. And now he's turned and all is right with the world again, and that's good. That was not my reaction. I wasn't upset at his sudden babyface turn. I was more intrigued than upset, but there's a big difference between how I was viewing and taking in his heel run. I think contrasting with probably almost everyone else except you. I think you agreed with me on this. I was really enjoying heel John Cena, but my perception is that most people online, both podcasters who are in the business or who have been in the business and also outsiders in the IWC, most people seem to feel that, this is my impression, most people weren't getting what they wanted out of it because they wanted Cena to be more evil and over the top dastardly and everything. Whereas that's not how Cena played it. Cena underplayed this version of John Cena. He kind of underplayed it and was low key with it, which I actually liked. I thought it was cool. I thought it was really interesting. I really liked this version of John Cena, and I was really enjoying heel John Cena. So part of me was kind of bummed. Don't get me wrong. The face turn when he did it and he's in the ring with Cody, he sold it well. The crowd was into it. You know, he's a great talker anyway, but part of me was like, that's the end of heel John Cena, because I was actually enjoying it. I had some criticisms of it. There were some things I would have done differently, but overall I was really enjoying it. And by the way, to everyone who says it was a mistake to turn him to begin with, even if you didn't like how heel John Cena was presented as a character, if they'd never done it, we would have been deprived of what was in my opinion, one of the coolest moments ever in wrestling. The moment that John Cena actually did the turn and the attention to detail with, he's hugging Cody, but then his face changes when The Rock does the signal. And I thought that was so great. One of the greatest turns ever. We would have lost out on that if they hadn't done it. So that's my feeling on the turn itself. I'm curious what you think.
I think the turn is a big case of what if.
Mm-hmm.
Look, John Cena did what John Cena does. He tried to make the best out of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is you had a catalyst for the heel turn.
Right.
That catalyst never came back into the picture.
The Rock.
So, yes. So you have a rudderless heel.
Well, that's one of the things I would have adjusted.
Well,
because that could have been been explained, but
no, I disagree, because once you make The Rock the catalyst, The Rock has to be present. Not like every week or even like every big event, but like for the bigger events, The Rock has to be present. You can't do that without some presence of The Rock. And I'm sorry, Travis Scott getting involved at WrestleMania didn't do it.
Right.
So look, John Cena did an admirable job with this.
Yeah.
And he really showed why he is one of the greatest of all time, because he really put maximum effort into it. But at the end of the day, it was the right call to turn him back when they did. And the one thing I liked about turning him is they debunked that they had to do the double turn. They had to turn Cody heel, which I said they didn't have to do. Once again, Eric was right.
I can't help but wonder, though, would it have made more sense? Maybe. I'm not saying this is how they should have done it, but it might it have made more sense if they'd waited, go into SummerSlam, leave it the way it was, do the match, Cody goes over clean, and then after the match, Cena congratulates, instead of attacking him or being a jerk, congratulates him, and then the next night on Raw, Cena comes out and is full babyface. Would that have made more sense? Maybe it just felt a little too abrupt.
I think they did it the way they did it because they knew the reaction he was going to get at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
They didn't want the rails to come off on the show. And so they're like, let's just do it at SmackDown. I agree with you. Doing it the night after on Raw would have been better. Yeah. But given what happened at the end of SummerSlam, it would have made no sense to do it the next night on Raw or the following SmackDown, because you want to go in that direction that they went in. You want all the focus to be on what's next, not what happened.
Yeah. No, I get you. One criticism I have of Cena's promo, I do wish his baby, when he turned full babyface, I wish that maybe there had been just a little bit more of an explanation from him. I'm nitpicking, but again, just like maybe a line in there about how I was so desperate. I like that. I like the line about, I was abandoned. Somebody talked me into this and I was abandoned, but I didn't like the part where he said somebody talked me into this because it would make shocking television, basically saying I never really felt that way and I was just faking the whole time. I think it would have been better if maybe he'd said, I was so desperate to win number 17 that I allowed my desperation to accomplish that goal to overwhelm me and to act and to behave in ways that are not normal for me. I would have liked that. Yeah, that would have been a little more nuanced. I think a little more satisfying than just somebody, and it was obvious he was referring to The Rock, but just, somebody talked me into just trying to make shocking television. And I realized I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I thought that was a little, overall, I thought the promo was very good. Again, he sold it well and the crowd was hugely into it, but I would have tweaked it again, little. Overall, I enjoyed Cena's run as a heel. Just certain little things I would have tweaked along the way. I did
as well. I think he did the best with what he had.
Yeah, absolutely.